to lecture here, and if there is any disruption, hopefully it will be recorded and I will share it on YouTube or with you people on WhatsApp. Well, today's topic is little interesting, and it's more about case laws. In fact, perhaps you people know the concept of limited liability. By now, I hope you people know what is the limited liability.
Yes, sir.
I'm just taking you to a case law back in 1897, which is perhaps one of the most important case laws in the history of corporations, especially because this case law had ultimately decided that company is a separate legal personality and its liability is somehow should not be the liability of its shareholders. They are two different persons. So always remember Solomon versus Solomon case, very important case law and very interesting as well. I will be just introducing you with the facts of the case, of what happened in that case. In fact, there was a gentleman, Mr. Solomon, who was having its own sole proprietary business of shoemaking and boots making, and he was a supplier of these shoes to the English Britain military. So he had a good business, and he was doing this business with the help of his family. And suddenly he decides in late 19th century, he decides to incorporate the company. Why? Because not very long before, in 1844, the Britain had already legislated the Companies Incorporation Act, means few individuals they can register the company, as a separate legal person. And in 1855, they had promulgated another enactment which was known as Limited Liability Act. It means from onward there could be a limited liability of the company as well. So he decides in, I think in late 1880s to incorporate his company, or maybe in 1890s or somewhere, 94 or something like that. I don't remember exact date. So what he does, he sells his business of shoemaking to the new company which he himself created. So this is what happens there. So since he was the owner of the business, he created a company and he decides to sell that business to that new company. Now, how did he do that? Number one, he first of all, he evaluated his own, and he estimated that the value of this, my business, is 39,000 pounds. That was a huge amount at that time. And since the company did not have sufficient cash, so first of all, company had only now 9,000 in cash and it paid him the cash amount. So remember that he was the seller of the business. On the other hand, he was the main shareholder of the company as well. So he was dealing on the both sides. On the one hand, he was selling the business. On the other hand, being a dominant shareholder in the company, he was buying that business as well. That is why he had exaggerated, overvalued the business as well. It was not of 39,000 pounds, it was less than that. However, since he was playing on the both sides, so he evaluated it as 39,000, and for that 39,000, he received 9,000 pounds as a cash from the company, and for the remaining 30,000, you see, what did he do? Number one, he bought 20,000 shares in the company, and obviously every share had every unit of the share had a value of 1 pound or sterling, जो भी उनका 1 pound ही होगा, yes. So in this way 20,000 shares जिनकी worth हो गई 20,000 pound that he received as a partial payment for his business. So it makes it 29,000 rupees जो कि उसे actually मिल गया. But there were still 10,000 remaining because the total worth of the company was of the business was 39,000. So what does he do? What did he do? He created a debenture. Debenture basically is a document, is a debt to the company. It's almost like a share. It also has a face value and the unit, but it is basically a debt to the company. So he created 10,000 worth of debentures. Many, yani 20,000 के shares कर लिए, 10,000 के he created debentures, and then he took that debenture from the company as a debt. It means company will pay him that 10,000 worth of pound worth of money after some times when the company will be able to satisfy the debt. And against that debt, he also had a charge over the company's assets. It means he had a very strong claim. He could have a very strong claim in the future against that company in relating to that debt. So simply again, out of 39,000, he received a cash amount of 9,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees as a shares in the company, and 10,000 debenture means the 10,000 the company will be paying him after some years, after some times. This is how he sold that business to the company. So company had basically 2007 shares. You know, I just told you, out of 2000 shares, 2001 shares they were given to Solomon. In fact, 2000 as a compensation or as a payment of selling the shares, selling the business, while 1 share he gave himself as a shareholder, while 6 of his other family members, they also got 1 share each. So he had, I think, wife, 2 sons and 2 daughters, or 3 sons and 1 daughter, something like that. But each of the family member, they got 1 share each, while Solomon had 1 share originally and 2,000 as a payment of the selling of his business. So this was all about the shares of the company. What happens next? After some times, this company started facing some financial difficulties and problems. So Solomon sold his debenture in the market. वो जो उसके पास 10,000 के debentures debts थे, he planned to sell it in the market. किसी और को sell out कर देने का उसने. But after some times, that business went down because in that time, इसकी जो his supply to the military that stopped somehow. So his business was not doing well, so it went down. So the new purchaser of the debentures mean the creditor of the company, जो कि अब current था. Previously he was a creditor of the company, but then he sold that credit to another person. Is this concept clear to you people that Solomon sold his debenture in the market? If you have any question, do ask me, then I respond to you and then I move forward. Any question?
सर जो 20,000 के शेयर वो उसके को शेयर्स के लिए
So there were 7 shareholders, 1 Solomon and 6 his family members. So each of them they got 1 share. So it make it 2007 shares. But it make it 7 shares. But company, the total shares of the company were 2000 shares, and 2000 shares were given to only Solomon, just only Solomon, as a payment of his of that transaction or the deal. Is this clear?
Okay, sir.
ठीक है. अच्छा, now let me explain. The debenture is basically a debt, and it is also, in fact, it's a kind of commodity. Market में इसको भी commodity कहा जाता है. And stock exchange में not only the shares are sold and purchased, but these debts are also sold and purchased. For example, ये हो सकता है मैंने किसी एक शख्स को डेट दिया 1 million rupees, एंड जनरली इंटरेस्ट बेस अगर हम बात करें, so the other person, Mr. B, has to pay me 11 lakh rupees. So after 1 year, it means I will be getting 11 lakh, 1 lakh का interest होगा. But I need money immediately, so what does I do? I sell that debt in the market, and in this way, I sell that debt into the market, and Mr. C, he gives me 1 lakh, I mean 10 lakh and 50,000. I mean Mr. C, he gives me 10 lakh and 50,000 rupees because I need it urgently, and I sell that debt to Mr. C. Now Mr. C would be the creditor of Mr. A, and I, Mr. B, I have got the money and I am excluded from that. And this happens in the market. This is not an unusual activity. This is a usual activity, that the debts are basically sold and purchased in the market. ठीक है, ये हो सकता है. So this is what happened. He went into the market and he sold his debenture into the market. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, ओके हो गया. अब क्या हुआ? Since the company went down, तो Mr. Broadtrip जो था, who was the debenture, who had bought that debts, और उसने further loaning की थी गालिबन कंपनी को, something like that, but he was a creditor. He challenged the conversion from sole business into a company, and he said that company was merely a sham to limit the Solomon's liability, and thus his payment deferred until creditors are paid. कुछ payment meanwhile, when the company was being wound up, तो still कुछ payment Solomon को भी देनी थी. तो ये जो creditor था, he goes to the court and says that the payment to the Solomon should be stopped, and first of all we should be paid because we are the creditors. And by the way, this is nothing but just an exploitation of the company law, because he himself is a dominant shareholder and he was the sole owner of the sole proprietorship. He has just changed the nomenclature on the while he's playing on the both sides. So when he went to the court, the trial court and the appellate court, they agreed with the creditor and they said yes, Solomon was just like he was using the company as an agent to run the business for him. But when the case went into the House of Lords, which was the Supreme Court of England in those times, it decided that no, there is nothing of the sort. What did Solomon do? He just incorporated the business according to the law. He did no mistake. He gave shares to the company at that time you needed 7 people to incorporate the company. So he distributed, there were 7 people, each one of them had 1 share. So they incorporated the company under the law. So we can't say that Solomon and the company are the same thing. Instead, court held that Solomon and the company are 2 separate legal personalities. And if I read it, however, reverse the previous decision and hold that it is the statute that created the company without any specific restriction as to the amount or number of shares. And the case thus established distinct legal personality of the company, and in other words, endorsing the already existing limited liability of the shareholders. As I told you, there are always already an existing law that provided limited liability of the company, but that was not being really taken serious by the judges or by the people in those times, because that was a new idea, that how could the shareholder have limited liability. So that was a new idea, so people were not really digesting that. That is why this case is said to be an extraordinary case in a sense that it decided that whatever the case may be, if someone has really registered the company according to the laws of that time, then company is a separate legal personality for all practical purposes. So remember this case law whenever you happen to quote the significance of legal personality, don't forget this case law. यहाँ इस केस लॉ को प्रेजेंट करने के बाद now I take you to another case law. Basically these are the English case law, and there's a one case law relating to Pakistan as well. If you need more cases on this concept, you can find on the Pakistan law side. The other concept, which is contrary to the legal personality, is known as the lifting of corporate veil. In fact, legal personality is also known as corporate veil. Means certain individual, they are wearing a corporate veil, the veil of corporation. Company का लिबासा कुछ लोग जब ओढ़ लेते हैं तो वो separate legal personality बन जाते हैं. They are protected somehow. Their liability is protected. Now we need to understand this concept of corporate veil as well. जी
सर, जो शेयर होल्डर्स की लाइफ वो प्रोटेक्टेड है ना?
जी जी एग्जैक्टली. लेकिन अगर आप इनको फुल फ्रीडम दे दें, so you see what did happen in Solomon's case. When he realized that the company might be going into losses, he just converted into the limited liability company. Even if he had not, if he did not have any such intentions, but at least in the 20th century, there were many cases, especially in the first half of the 20th century, there were many cases that had these like situations when the people actually to defraud its creditors, they were incorporating the companies. ठीक है, अपनी लाइबिलिटी को लिमिट करने के लिए दिस वाज अ प्रैक्टिस. सो उसको अवॉइड करने के लिए कुछ लेजिस्लेशन भी आई. लीव इट फॉर द टाइम बीइंग, बट देयर आर ऑब्वियसली चांसेस ऑफ एक्सप्लॉइटिंग द सिचुएशन. To avoid that exploiting the situation, the law provides some other mechanism as well. I will, for example, if I directly go to this section of the law, so you see section 379, power of the court to assess damages against delinquent director So what happens here, if in the course of winding up of a company, if the company is being wind up, it is being dissolved, it appears to the court that any person who has taken part in the promotion, you see, tamam wo people who are the promoters or who have been active while promoting the company or formation of a company, they were creating the company, or any past or present director, liquidator, or officer of the company, he has misapplied or retained or become liable or accountable for any money or property of the company, has been guilty of any misfeasance or breach of trust in relation to the company, then he can be asked to repay the money or the property or any part of to the company. वो जो भी delinquent directors हैं उनकी liability fix कर सकते हैं इस एंगल से आपको. यहाँ पे जो promoter है वो shareholder भी हो सकता है. तो even the most important is this section 398, liability of fraudulent conduct of business. Business of a company had been carried on with the intent to defraud creditors of the company or any other person or for any fraudulent purpose. अगर आपने business company का business इसलिए कर रहे हैं to defraud your creditors और किसी और बंदे को defraud करने के लिए या कोई fraudulent purpose है, so what could happen? The court can declare that such person who were knowingly party shall be personally responsible without any limitation of liability. So that is very important point. यहाँ limited liability का concept in certain situations, especially fraud के cases में खत्म हो गया. If someone is found to be fraudulent, either he is a director or shareholder or then he will be personally liable. Personally liable means सिर्फ assets नहीं चलेंगे, उसके personal assets भी responsible होंगे without any limitation liability for all or any of the debt or other liabilities of the company as the court may direct. ठीक है, एक तो ये बात होगी. So this section goes contrary to the limited liability concept. But remember, exceptional situation है when there is a fraud. Number one, and number two, it is the court that is to decide who is to be held liable, and that is very important point as well. So easily, what I'm trying to say that there is a possibility to make someone liable in the court, despite the fact that company and its directors have limited liability. I will be little quick now. I think you got the idea. But how does a court decides, और जो उसके लिए technical term use की जाती है, when the court fixes the liability of any individual of the company or any inner person of the company, it is by lifting the corporate veil. Why? How? Or you can see here in the slides, lifting / piercing / peeping. It means court gets into the company, वो जो corporate का veil है उसे उठाती है, उसके अंदर देखते हैं कि what's happening inside. ये shareholders किसी को fraud तो नहीं कर रहे, ये directors अपनी situation को exploit तो नहीं कर रहे. So normally court involved नहीं होती है इन चीजों में, but if it seems कि company का जो default था उसका downfall किसी internal matters की वजह से है, it can then lift the corporate veil and it gets into the company. अंदर जाके देखते हैं मामलात क्या है, और maybe company को ये पता चल जाए कि Solomon was playing on the both sides. Okay, so let's fix the liability of Solomon. Why did he overvalue the business? लेकिन obviously उस वक्त ये decide नहीं हुआ, later on ये provisions add किए गए थे. तो अब जो law है वो कोर्ट को ये authorize करता है to lift the corporate veil and fix the liability on any individual who was found to be involved in some fraudulent activities or some unwarranted activities. So just understanding what is corporate veil and lifting itself, it goes in contrast to separate legal personality and limited liability, as I explained it to you. We know under company law it is possible one company own all shares of other company. तो ये अब हमारे आगे कुछ क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. For example, you know that corporations can also be the shareholder of another company. So it's possible that company A has 99.9 shares in company B. लेकिन these both are two different companies. अगर company B, which is owned by company A, if company B की liability उसने अगर कोई third party को loss किया है, क्या उस loss को हम extend कर सकते हैं parent company को या जो जिसके complete shares हैं company में? क्योंकि on the one hand we have the concept of separate legal personality. एक कंपनी डिफरेंट है, दूसरी कंपनी डिफरेंट है, दोनों की लाइबिलिटी भी डिफरेंट है. लेकिन ऐसी सिचुएशन में क्या होगा? When one company is holding the whole shares of the other company, this is not the one business. Is this not a one business entity? I mean, same company, same business. उसके लिए उन्होंने एक सेपरेट कंपनी बना ली छोटी सी, उससे वो बिजनेस कर रहे हैं. Subsidiary takes risky activity, would parent be liable? वो जो छोटी कंपनी एक बड़ी कंपनी ने बनाई है, अगर वो ऐसे रिस्की प्रोजेक्ट्स में स्टार्ट हो जाए जिसकी वजह से लॉसेस के ज़्यादा चांसेस हों, क्योंकि कॉन्सेप्ट पीछे ये है कि उसकी लाइबिलिटी लिमिटेड है, तो वो खुल के खेले और लॉस भी अगर थर्ड पार्टी को हो जाए, सो कैन वी से कि जो पेरेंट कंपनी है उसकी लाइबिलिटी होगी या नहीं होगी. तो ये तमाम इन सिचुएशंस को ओवरकम करने के लिए there are certain concept provide किया गया है limited lifting the corporate veil का. मैं आपको एक और sometimes ये भी होता है टैक्सेस अवॉइड करने के लिए भी सब्सिडीज बनाई जाती हैं, सब्सिडीज की लाइबिलिटी को अवॉइड करने के लिए भी सब्सिडीज बनाई जाती हैं, और पेरेंट कंपनी की लाइबिलिटी को भी अवॉइड करने के लिए कुछ कंपनीज बना दी जाती हैं ताकि सेपरेट लीगल पर्सनैलिटीज भी रहें और लाइबिलिटी पेरेंट कंपनी में फिक्स ना हो. ये एक एग्जांपल देखें आप, यू विल गेट द आइडिया. कंपनी Z शेयर होल्डिंग ऑफ 3 other companies ABC. B is involved in the marketing, C is involved for the transportation of goods for the same production, for example. What if the 3 subsidiaries does any wrong to third party and unable to pay the damages? तीनों की जो टोटल ओनरशिप है ऑलमोस्ट वो Z के पास है. उसकी जब ओनरशिप उसके पास है, इट मींस दे आर बीइंग मैनेज्ड बाय Z. उसके बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स पे Z का डायरेक्ट इन्फ्लुएंस है. सो इफ इट हैपेंस, इट मींस डिसीजंस आर बीइंग टेकन बाय Z. बिकॉज ऑफ दोस डिसीजंस सम हार्म हैज बीन डन टू थर्ड पार्टी, एंड इफ these subsidiaries ABC are unable to pay the debt, unable to pay damages, can we fix liability on Z? Ideally तो हम यही कहेंगे no, because A, B, C are different legal personality and Z is a different legal personality. But sometimes court does not accept this argument and thus it lifts the veil to fix the liability. वो कहते हैं कि क्या डिसीजन सारे Z ले रही थी, बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर पे Z थी, तो why shouldn't Z be liable? क्या Z ने इसलिए तो ये काम नहीं किए थे कि वो अपनी लाइबिलिटी को प्रोटेक्ट रखे? सो एवरीथिंग इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन द कोर्ट, एंड कोर्ट कैन डिसाइड either to fix or not to fix the liability and to lift or not to lift the corporate veil. एक और एग्जांपल है, इसके साथ में I will stop my lecture. So यहाँ पे भी क्या हुआ, इंग्लिश केस है 1962 का. Mr. Jones or Lipman, they had entered into a contract for the sale of lands. Meanwhile, जो seller था Lipman, he changes his mind not to sell the property. What does he do? He forms a company and his own company and sells that land to that company. In order to avoid that contract, It means he was trying to use that company to avoid his original sale contract. Mr. Jones, he claimed that, and he said that since he is no longer owner of that company and of that property, and the property is being owned by the company, so it is not enforceable. Like in court ने ये कहा था, you have just, it is just company is just a facet of the seller. उसने इसको अवॉइड करने के लिए ये सीन खेला था, and so he could be forced to specific performance, mean he could be forced to sell that property to Mr. Jones. So this is how you can see that company could be pierced, it could be peeped into by the court, and the court then will fix the liability, would decide about all these things, but it does so after lifting the corporate veil and getting into the company. But yeah, I think if the concept is clear by this time, by this, if you have this clarity of concept that as against the limited liability, there's a concept of lifting of corporate veil, so that is sufficient for you people. Any question?
सर ये लास्ट केस में क्या
इसमें ये हुआ था that Mr. Jones and Lipman, they had entered into an agreement for the sale of land. So Lipman was a seller. So after some time, he changed his mind and he did not want to sell that land to Mr. Jones. So in order to avoid that sale, what does he do? He creates a company and sells that very land to that company. I mean, जो sale का contract था between Lipman and Jones, that was not executed as yet. But meanwhile, he forms a company and sells that land to the company, and then he claims that since the company has already purchased and now it's the property of the company, so it cannot be, the contract, the previous contract cannot be enforced because अब इसकी specific performance नहीं हो सकती थी. तो कोर्ट ने कहा था कि no, you are the shareholder in that company as well, and you just created the company as a facet to avoid that sale. तो कोर्ट ने फिर specific performance का order कर दिया था, means the Lipman has to sell that land to Mr. Jones.
ओके सर
सर उसने यानी कि सिर्फ एग्रीमेंट टू सेल किया था, सेल नहीं अभी परफॉर्म हुआ था.
Yes. Okay. With this I stop. I think.
Sir, actually मेरा एक general question है sir. Can I ask?
जी आप कर लें. मेरी बैटरी मोबाइल की ऑलमोस्ट डेड है. 1 मिनट.
जी सर, बस थोड़ा ही वो पूछना था सर, जैसे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में है सर, वो सर शेयर की डिमांड कैसे बढ़ती है? क्योंकि सर
जब सप्लाई कम होती है,
फेस वैल्यू है शेयर का, वो तो फिक्स होता है ना, तो सर वो एक शेयर की डिमांड फिर सर वो कैसे बढ़ती है? क्योंकि ऑथराइज कैपिटल बढ़ रहा है तो वो कंपनी को फायदा होता है, पर जो शेयर है मतलब
के प्रोसेस के थ्रू होता है, वो तो सप्लाई एंड डिमांड के उसके प्रिंसिपल के थ्रू होता है. नहीं,
सप्लाई और डिमांड, मतलब सप्लाई तो ज्यादा हो सकता है पर डिमांड क्यों बढ़ती है उसकी?
जब सप्लाई कम हो जाता है डिमांड बढ़ती है.
फिक्स है, और जो है नंबर ऑफ कैपिटल जो शेयर्स होता है वो इनिशियली वो भी वो मतलब स्पेसिफाइड होता है, तो कंपनी को क्यों ऑथराइज कैपिटल बढ़ाना पड़ता है सर? अगर ये थोड़ा सर क्लियर कर.
हेलो, क्लास एंड हो गई?
नहीं सर तो भी है, लेकिन आई थिंक नेट शायद चला गया होगा।
Yusuf atau kemana cepke apa? Kudusha, aku be.
سام خوان دی او نن مې لا خوب پوره شو. دا لیکچر کې د شي په یوټیوب اپلوډ کی پوه شولې. دا مونږ خبرې هم پکې ریکارډ کیږي.
Sir, ništa sarla.
نو چې لاړم دی کنه زمونږ خبرې به ریکارډ کیږي پکې.
او خیال کوه تیر واره د حمزه د
तुम सप्लाई डिमांड की बात कर रहे थे ना, ठीक है, किसी चीज का जो है डिमांड क्यों बढ़ता है?
सबर यार रशीद, तुमने सर से सवाल किया, जवाब में जहांगीर दे रहा है। पता नहीं जहांगीर
फेस वैल्यू एक यूनिट जो आपने रखा हुआ है वो हमेशा सेम ही
एक
रहेगा।
बात फेस वैल्यू शेयर बढ़ाते हैं
करते हैं लेकिन यूनिट सेम बढ़ता है।
क्यों
मेरे पास
नहीं जहांगीर, बात सुना लो, ये जो फेस वैल्यू और मार्केट वैल्यू में फर्क होता है इनका।
मुझे पता है दोनों, मुझे दोनों का पता है।
फेस वैल्यू 10 रुपए, लेकिन मार्केट वैल्यू उसके 2000 भी हो सकती है, 3000 भी हो सकती है। वो क्यों बढ़
तो
रही है?
यही क्वेश्चन है सर से, यही क्वेश्चन है हमारा
मार्केट वैल्यू क्यों बढ़ रही है जहांगीर?
अभी सर को आंसर करने देना दे। हाँ,
फेस वैल्यू तो 10 रुपए है, मार्केट में इसकी वैल्यू 3000 हो जाती है, वो क्यों हो जाती है?
वो सप्लाई एंड डिमांड का प्रिंसिपल तब अप्लाई होता है।
भाई सप्लाई किस तरह होगा भाई? मेरे कंपनी के पास जहांगीर मेरे कंपनी के 3000 शेयर है, सही है। अभी मार्केट में मैंने 10 रुपए उनकी कीमत रखी है, मार्केट में उनकी वैल्यू 3000 है, वही मेरे शेयर वही फिक्स्ड है, लेकिन उनकी वैल्यू मार्केट में बढ़ गई है, क्यों?
फेस वैल्यू आपने 10 रखी है ना?
नहीं, मार्केट वैल्यू इनकी क्यों बढ़ जाती है?
तो फेस वैल्यू क्या रखी है आपने?
मैंने 10 रुपए रखी, लेकिन ये मार्केट में इसकी वैल्यू 1000 रुपए है एक शेयर की।
नहीं, जहांगीर की पॉइंट वैलिड है।
नहीं यार, स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का यही सिस्टम है, फेस वैल्यू और मार्केट वैल्यू में फर्क होता
नहीं है भाई।
अब जो कंपनी आप जिस तरह बात सुनो, अब एप्पल कंपनी के बात सुनो जहांगीर, बात
सबर करो जहांगीर रज़ाक।
अब एप्पल कंपनी के शेयर्स है ना, बात सुनो, एप्पल कंपनी के शेयर्स है ना 1980s या 90s जब में भी बने हैं, सही है, उनकी कीमत वही $2 या जितने भी डॉलर्स के रखे हैं अभी तक वही है फेस वैल्यू इनकी, लेकिन मार्केट में अभी एप्पल के शेयर्स कितने में बिक रहे हैं?
यार ये तुम लोगों ने स्कैम मूवी देखी है इसलिए सब
तो वो
स्कैम
का क्वेश्चन ये है कि वो मार्केट क्यों बढ़ जाता है?
असल में यार यही चीज चलती है, सर क्लियर करने ये यस सर।
Very interesting question from Rashid. Am I audible?
Yes sir.
Okay.
Yes sir.
होता ये है that for example you started the company. This is very simple example. So you started the company today with 1 million rupees, let's suppose. So that 1 million rupees, it means it's the worth of the company today, 1 million. So from that 1 million, you purchased certain infrastructures, certain other machinery, etc. And in this way, the total capital of the company is today 1 million rupees simply. And the worth of the share is also 1 million, because let's suppose if the one value of each share is 1 rupee, it means you have 1 million shares as well. If it is, let's suppose, let it simply keep it 1 million. So there are 1 million share. Each share's worth is 1 rupee only. 53. You are not audible, so you may turn off your mic. Acha. Now, obviously, after 1 year, that business would no more be 1 million rupees. Obviously, they will be added at least 1 lakh mazid add ho jayega, because there is some activity that has taken place, some business has taken place, तो उस business की वजह से additional capital तो involve हो गया, profit add हो गया. So what would be the actual value of that business after 1 year if it really progresses, if it really advances? So what would be the worth of that business after 1 year?
डिस्टॉर्ट हो रही है
सर 1.1 मिलियन.
ठीक हो गया, 11 lakhs हो गए, 11 lakhs हो गए. लेकिन पर शेयर की जो फेस वैल्यू है दैट इज ओनली 1 रुपी, लेकिन एक्चुअली पर शेयर की जो वैल्यू है वो 1.1 रुपी हो गई है एक्चुअली. नाउ आई विल बी विलिंग टू बाय दैट शेयर एट 1.1 रुपी बिकॉज उसकी मार्केट वैल्यू तो 1.1 है. सो फेस वैल्यू
सर ना
जहांगीर सर की आवाज आ रही है, आपका नेट काम कर रहा है.
ठीक है, बाकियों को
खामोशी रख.
ओके 002 मेरी आवाज क्लियर है?
यस सर.
043
जी सर.
सो यू अंडरस्टूड व्हाट हैपेंस कि वही फेस वैल्यू था, आफ्टर 1 ईयर कुछ प्रॉफिट हुआ, एक्टिविटी हुआ, उसकी जो एक्चुअल वैल्यू है वो 11 लाख हो गई. अल्टीमेटली जो शेयर्स थे उनकी भी वैल्यू ऑटोमेटिकली बढ़ गई. अब मार्केट में कॉमन पीपल व्हेन ही नोस के एक्चुअल वर्थ तो कंपनी की 11 लाख है, तो पर शेयर की वैल्यू भी ऑब्वियसली 1 रुपी तो नहीं होगी, वो भी इंक्रीज हो गई है. सो दैट विल बी 1.1 रुपी. तो इसी तरह मार्केट की वैल्यू जो शेयर की होती है वो इंक्रीज ऐसे होती रहती है. द मोर द कंपनी प्रोग्रेसेस उस तरह उसकी वर्थ वैसे बढ़ती जाती है. फेस वैल्यू आप जाएं तो आप मार्केट में किसी कंपनी के शेयर परचेज करें, उसकी फेस वैल्यू टोटल 1 लाख बनेगी, लेकिन यू विल बाय देम इन द मार्केट एट 1.5 लाख रुपए से, बिकॉज वो उसकी एडिशनल मार्केट जो उसकी वर्थ है वो ऐड हो रही होती है.
सर तो ऑथराइज्ड कैपिटल चेंज होता जाएगा सर एडिशनल अमाउंट से?
नहीं, वो वही रहता है,
वो भी सेम रहता है,
वो सेम,
क्योंकि मेमोरेंडम ऑफ एसोसिएशन सेम रहेगा ना सर?
यस, उस पे कोई फर्क नहीं.
ओके.
Bhuttu, is this clear?
यस सर.
सर तो पेड अप कैपिटल इंक्रीज नहीं होगा?
If the paid up capital, जो भी कैपिटल है वो वैसे स्टैटिक ही रहेगा. फॉर एग्जांपल एथोराइज आपका 1 करोड़ हो गया और आपका जो पेड अप कैपिटल था दैट वाज ओनली, जरा कॉम्प्लिकेट हो जाएगा. आपका एथोराइज 1 करोड़ है और आपका जो पेड अप है वो 1 मिलियन है. 1 मिलियन आपने पे कर दिया, 4 शेयर होल्डर्स थे, 1 मिलियन उन्होंने पे कर दिया एंड दे हैव शेयर्स एज वेल. 20 फॉर एग्जांपल 10 लाख है ना, तो 2.5 लाख शेयर सबने ले लिया, 2.5 लाख पे किया, 2.5 लाख के शेयर ले लिया उन्होंने. और आफ्टर 1 ईयर अब वो जो 2.5 लाख है दैट विल बी रफली अराउंड 2,75,000 ऑलमोस्ट हो जाएगी उसकी वर्थ. अब ये पेड अप कैपिटल ऐसा ही रहेगा अनटिल की कंपनी अपना कैपिटल मजीद रेज कर ले. फॉर एग्जांपल 10 लाख ऑलरेडी था और 10 लाख मजीद रेज कर ले, फिर वो पेड अप कैपिटल 2 मिलियन तक जा सकता है.
सर पेड अप कैपिटल अगर कंपनी कुछ और शेयर्स इशू करे सर, अब जिस तरह आपकी कंपनी के अगर 10 मिलियन है तो उनके शेयर तकरीबन ज़्यादा होंगे सर, और अभी तक उन्होंने 1 मिलियन तक पेड अप हुए, मतलब 1 मिलियन के अमाउंट तक उन्होंने शेयर इशू किए हैं सर. अगर कंपनी ये करे कि पेड अप कैपिटल अपना 2 मिलियन कर दे, मतलब कुछ और अगर एक्स्ट्रा शेयर्स इशू करे, तो वो जब बाकी बंदे आके सब्सक्राइबर आके वो खरीद ले या कोई और बंदा आके उसे खरीद ले, तो पेड अप कैपिटल तो खुद ही वो इंक्रीज हो जाएगा सर.
नहीं, 2 सिचुएशंस है ना. सिचुएशन नंबर 1 ये है कि जो एग्जिस्टिंग शेयर होल्डर था जिसके पास 2.5 लाख के शेयर्स थे, अगर उसने सेल आउट कर दिया है तो इट मींस ही विल बी रिप्लेस्ड बाय अनदर शेयर होल्डर. आई हैड शेयर्स ऑफ 0.25 मिलियन, 2.5 लाख के मेरे पास शेयर थे, मैंने सेल कर दिए, मुझे किसी ने रिप्लेस कर दिया, बात खत्म होगी। द सेकंड सिनेरियो इज दैट जब आप कैपिटल रेज करते हैं, पेड अप कैपिटल आप रेज करते हैं, एडिशनल 1 मिलियन आप ऐड करते हैं, और इस एडिशनल 1 मिलियन में इट्स अप टू यू। नॉर्मली पहला राइट एग्जिस्टिंग शेयर होल्डर को होता है। नया शेयर होल्डर जो है, नया जो कैपिटल है 1 मिलियन का, यू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट इट अमंग द एग्जिस्टिंग शेयर होल्डर प्रो रेटा। ठीक है, तो वो उनमें डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाएगा, बट मे बी यू कैन ऐड 1 or 2 अदर शेयर होल्डर्स, वो आएंगे तो उनको आप अपने शेयर्स की पेमेंट के मुताबिक आप शेयर दे देंगे। बट रिमेंबर, यानी 6-8 मजीद आपने ऐड कर दिए उसी डिवीजन के साथ, एवरीवन हैविंग 2,50,000 शेयर। लेकिन रिमेंबर, ये जो नए शेयर होल्डर्स आएंगे इनको 1 रुपी शेयर की वैल्यू 1 रुपी पे नहीं मिलेगी, बल्कि कंपनी उनसे
एग्जिस्टिंग पे मिलेगी।
हाँ, उनको मार्केट वैल्यू पे प्रीमियम चार्ज करती है। द टर्म इज यूज प्रीमियम। वो जो
प्रीमियम
0.1 रुपी जो है, 0.1 रुपी, दैट कुड बी सेड टू बी प्रीमियम, जो कंपनी जो है कहेगी कि एक्चुअल वर्थ ये है, इसलिए हम आपसे ये चार्ज कर रहे हैं।
यस सर, थैंक यू।
चलिए, एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
नहीं बस, थैंक यू सो मच सर।
ठीक हो गया। So the tea is waiting for me. Rashid, I have downloaded the list and I contact you after 30 minutes, and then we will mark the attendance.
Inshallah sir.
Allah.
Allah Hafiz sir, thank you.